I want to show you something which we don't need here, but which is really neat and which you should be aware of. Keep in mind that in our product model, we're storing a user ID. Now let's say when we fetch all products, as we're doing it in the admin controller in get products with find. Let's say we actually want to get all the user data for the related user and not just the ID. Because right now, if I console log my products here in find and get products in the admin controller, and I reload my admin products page here, we see in the console, this is what gets logged, an array of products, and that array, of course, or the objects in there, only have the user ID. Now, this is of course not what we need in all cases. Sometimes we want to fetch the related user data too. Now we could do that manually. Here inside the then, where we got the products, we could loop through the products and then write queries where we get the users with find by ID with the IDs that we have received. But this is a bit cumbersome. Mongoose has a useful utility method which we can add after find, and that is populate. Populate allows you to tell Mongoose to populate a certain field with all the detailed information and not just the ID. So here I could add populate, and then you first of all describe the path which you want to populate. In my case, that's just the user ID field, but you could also point at nested paths if you had these, but here it's just the user ID. And then that is it for now. If I now save this and I reload this page, you see, actually the user ID is now not just the ID, but the full user object. And that can, of course, be really helpful for fetching data, because this gives you all the data in one step instead of writing nested queries on your own. By the way, you can also select which kind of data should be received, and you can not just do that in populate, but also in find. After find, you can call select. And this allows you to define which fields you want to select or unselect, so which fields should actually be retrieved from the database. There you pass a string where you could say for a product, maybe you want to get the title and the price, but you don't need description and anything else. So you could then add title and price like this, and you could even exclude something like the ID by adding a minus in front of it. And the same can be done on populate by passing a second argument. This would be a string where you say, okay, I want to get the name, and that's it. The ID will, by the way, always be retrieved unless you explicitly exclude it. If you do that and you now reload this page, you already see some data is missing here because we did not retrieve it, and you see it in the data that gets logged here too. We only retrieved the title and price. We explicitly excluded the ID. For the user, we didn't explicitly exclude the ID, so we got that, and we got the name, which we defined here. So that's just a little side note about data fetching with Mongoose, and something I wanted to make you aware of. We don't need it here. It actually breaks our application, but it's still something that's nice to know. So I will comment this out, and I just want you to keep in mind that you can automatically populate related fields and fetch the related data, and that you can also control which fields are returned, both for the main document and also for populated documents. With that, let's go back to the state in which we need the app in, and let's instead work on things like the cart and orders.